Hi, friends, and welcome to Talking with Famous People. My name's host Eric, and I'm live streaming because I'm chock full of feelings this morning. It's been a very tumultuous camp week, High Tech Senpai. It's like it's an ongoing battle here in my house with Kimberly and my relationship. Hi, Zaylen Black. And I suspect it's going to end today. Thanks, Bobbert Collins. I just feel as though, and this is my interpretation of it, obviously, but that Kimberly just doesn't love me back. I love her, but she doesn't love me back. Now, she'd probably interpret that differently, but we just fight and fight and fight because I keep asking her to make the decision, like to make the decision to be me, be my partner, whatever. Be with me, be my partner, listen to me, pay attention to me. Give me the benefit of the doubt that I'm trying to solve problems. But I don't know. Maybe it's me, maybe it's her. She doesn't seem to want to give up any control over anything. And I need some control too. So, and I told her last night, make a decision. You need to resolve this one way or another. I cannot just continually battle you forever. It's driving me crazy. It's like, especially since I'm just battling for basic shit. Like, my fear too. Like, really basic shit. I don't know if we're going to end up breaking up or not, but I do know that before bed, she said, well, I'll make the decision in the morning. I said, well, I don't know if the decision will still be in your hands in the morning. So, we'll see what happens when she wakes up. The thing is, from my perspective, it's as simple as I need her to trust me. But from her perspective, she can't trust me until I guess I don't ever hold her accountable for anything. So that's a problem, obviously. It's also an indication of how things can sometimes be misattributed. Like, in some ways, the initiation of yesterday's fight was Taylor's video, because at the end of it, he says, Eric's trying to do to Becky what he's doing to you, Kimberly, and you should run, or something along those lines. I haven't actually watched the video. She watched it. So, naturally, I said to her, okay, so this is what I'm talking about. Because we're not on the same page, it's going to start a fight. I'm not sure if you agree with Taylor or me. And she said, well, Taylor's got some points or whatever. I said, okay, well, that's fine. But you see, that's not being a teammate. He might have some points. He doesn't, but he might, in theory. He's completely wrong about everything, of course. But that's neither here nor there. The point being, I don't need Taylor to be on my team in my relationship. That's fine. He can think whatever he wants. I need her to be on my team in my relationship. And it means, even if you do agree with Taylor in that situation, saying like, well, he might have some points, but I'm on your side for sure. Something like that to indicate me she's on the team with me. She doesn't want to be told what to think or be told how to talk or anything like that. What she doesn't seem to understand is she's constantly telling me what to do. All the time. But it's not a subtype problem. It's an attachment style problem. She doesn't have a secure attachment style. And basically the demand I keep making of her is have a secure attachment style. You need to trust me. I don't know if she's capable of it. in the middle of our big fight last night, I said, "Have I ever betrayed your trust? Is there any reason for you not to trust me?" And she agreed there was none. But she's addicted to control, basically. She needs to take an AA approach, surrender, and try to heal by the process of trust. But you can't force somebody to trust you, and I don't think Kimberly may not be capable of trusting anybody. So if that's the case, I'm just banging my head up against the wall. I've told her many times I'm not going to abandon her. I'm not going to just bail, but she's going to have to cooperate somewhat. Awkward INFP, I'm very much beginning to afraid it's not. That you can't teach trust, or you certainly can't demand it. What is she distrustful about? I mean, words. I try to say something like, "Okay, Kimmy, I've got a little bit of a problem here. You said to me the other night, a perfect example is this. We were at the brewery with the friends here, and she asked me a question. I was lost deep in thought. I didn't hear the question. And then she got a little irritated at me not answering, and she said, "Eric, answer my question." I think we're going to split today. I really do. And so I said to her later on, I said, "Okay, Kimmy, you know how earlier today, when I didn't answer your question at the brewery, you were annoyed? Good morning, Joe, Shabadoo. Well, my purpose of saying that, be nice. My purpose of saying that was to raise a point, which was this. I often get irritated when Kimberly doesn't answer my questions or just ignores me. But Becky was the therapist she trusted. And yeah, she was her therapist too. But, the thing is, so I said to her, you know how you were annoyed when I didn't answer your question at the brewery? This is distrust. Trust is, yeah, a little bit or something, whatever. And then I make my point, which is, well, I also realized at that moment that sometimes when you don't hear me, you're just lost in your head thinking about stuff. You're not ignoring me. And that's a lesson I can take from this. And a lesson you can maybe take from this is that it's annoying when somebody doesn't respond to you, But because she's distrustful, when I say, you know how you were annoyed when I didn't answer your question at the brewery, she says, I wasn't annoyed at the brewery. So I go, okay, well, a little irritated maybe. I wasn't irritated. It's that stuff. That's distrust. She assumes anything I say that's, an obvious and acceptable interpretation of reality, if it hints at something with Kimberly's being the problem at all, she assumes that if she agrees to anything, I will use it to hit her over the head with. Even though I never have. She never tried agreeing with me. She's never tried trusting me. She's never tried my way, which is the healthy way. It's like, and then we get in a big fight because it's like, Kimberly, this is what I'm talking about. I need you to agree with me on basic facts so that you can let me do positive work. That's what I mean by distrustful. She's distrustful of me, fundamentally, of solvency, of words. So, it's like, and then last night she was embarrassed. I was embarrassed too that we got into another fight in front of the people. And I said, all right, Kimmy, look, we can't be a team or not. Is this our fault or my fault? She doesn't get it. It's our fault. That means she has to look at herself too. It's not just me. And that's something that she won't trust me enough to do. What happened to her warrant her being this distrustful? I mean, she had a rough childhood and stuff, and she probably had some, people who couldn't be trusted in relationships and lots of stuff. Backup says maybe she wasn't irritated. She was at the very least impatient. So even if she wants to contradict being annoyed or irritated, she go, well, I wasn't annoyed or irritated. I guess I was a little impatient. That's working with me. To try to help me to make my point, right? Whatever it is. So assume that my point is productive. Relationships shouldn't be this hard. Yes, they can be hard, but can you see yourself continuing the same path for the next 10 years? It's so hard to change who we are at 40, 50 years old. No, I can't see myself persisting in the same path for 10 years. I've been battling for the whole time. I mean, I do distrust her. I do distrust her in the sense that I know if shit gets dirty and I turn to see my partner by my side, she's going to be on the other side attacking me. So I don't trust her. But the thing is, as I keep explaining to her, trust is a two-way street. I keep affording her lots of trust. I keep investing lots of trust in her. I keep trusting that if this time she has the possibility of listening to me, this time she has the possibility of trying to be a teammate, this time whatever. I'm optimistic. I keep telling her that's crucial too. But I can't carry all the weight. I can't do all the paddling when she's paddling in the opposite direction. And the thing is, she's so proud. It's like I said to her last night, Kimmy, are you going to be okay if we split up? She'll survive. She's not going to die or anything, I guess. But the answer is no, she's not going to be okay. But she's too proud to admit that. She needs me. But she's too proud to admit that. She won't celebrate in herself the fact that someone she needs is there for her. Because that's giving up too much control. And I can't be in a relationship where I'm entirely unappreciated. And that's really what it is here. It's like I bring Eric to the table. Eric solves problems with words. Eric's fair. Eric is objectively self-critical and wants the best for his partner. And if she doesn't like that, there's not much anything I can do about it, I read your comment on another live stream that no more than 10% crap in a relationship, and I so agree. Right. It should be 80% positive interactions. It's not more than 10% crap, because there's 10% crap, 10% kind of legitimate wishy-washy areas, and 80% positive interactions. Every time I approach her with something, 80% of the time, it should be a positive interaction whereby she's actually hearing me and engaging me about what I'm saying. And the thing is, I should get that book and give it to her. She needs to understand something like that. Why does she need you? Why do you need her? Stop overanalyzing and just enjoying each other. I would love to do that. I just need to know that, and it'd be easy squeezy if I were hurt. In other words, if I say, hey, Kimmy, I've got a problem, there's got to be some legal way for me to talk about that with her. And in the status quo, there's no legal way. It's like she doesn't. I mean, yeah, we did it with Becky, and it works pretty well, but it requires her to make a lot of progress. I've made a lot of progress already, So, and that's what I keep coming back to. It's like, no, Kim, I'm not asking anything of you that I've not already given you 100,000 times over. A willingness to be wrong and fix things about oneself. I want to make a point here about social media and stuff. It would be very easy for me to attempt to like blame Taylor for interfering, starting this fight, talking shit about my relationship or whatever. I mean, I haven't even read it. I haven't even watched his video, so I don't know exactly what he said or whatever. But the point is, let's misassigning blame here entirely. Taylor highlighted something that I need from her. I need her to be on my team. So when I say, well, do you agree with Taylor or me? Taylor was talking about my approach in talking with her, right? And she said, well, he's got a point. Is this the fundamental problem I'm having? It's like, until we're on the same page, we'll always be susceptible to this. That somebody can make one comment about our relationship is going to kick us into a fight. And hold me tight, 7 conversations for a lifetime of love. Well, listen, if we don't break up today when she wakes up, I'm going to go to those 2 books and ask her to read them. And we'll see what happens. David Black says, my husband couldn't tolerate me, my mess, my kids, my hours. I couldn't tolerate his need for control. We lived in different houses and it worked amazingly well. I mean, I don't want that kind of relationship. I want somebody who actually loves me for who I am. And that means letting me solve problems with words, for example. It means trusting me to agree with me on basic facts so that I can do the work I got to do. See, the hardest thing for me in this relationship is that I'm fighting all the battles outside the city gates. We're going to, like, me and my partner are going to go fight a battle inside of a city. Kimberly makes me battle over every square inch just to determine that we're even fighting the battle outside the city gates before we even get in there. And that just drives me crazy. Right. Kimberly feels unempowered. Like, it doesn't matter what I say either. She doesn't listen to the meaning of my words. So I can tell her, look, if you work with me, these are the benefits. This is what working with me sounds like. It doesn't matter what I say. She just doesn't trust me enough to hear what I say. She trusts me too little. She always interprets meanings that I don't have. Like, when I give her an opportunity to show that she and I are on the same page a little bit, she sees it as a test and a trap and a trick. I mean, it's not. I don't know what else to tell her. I'm looking to see that you, when given the opportunity to agree with me and be on the same page, you will do so. No, that's the thing. I don't back down. I'm not looking for her to back down either. I'm looking for us to work together. It's what I keep telling her. If you keep blaming me, keep saying it's my fault, keep redirecting your own shit onto me, then we're going to have a problem. If you start using the word we instead of I and you, we will be fine. Because that's the fundamental problem. You don't see us as a we. You see it as Kimberly and Kimberly's difficult man. And the reason I'm difficult is because I expect my feelings to matter too. I mean, that's the only way to interpret it. Well, it could be a language issue, but the thing is, I mean, it is a language issue. The issue being she doesn't want to solve problems with language. She wants to ignore conflicts and let them go away on their own, which I consider festering. I expect conflicts to be resolved in short order. Yeah, I've talked to Becky about these problems many times. Well, it does mean agree with me sometimes. Like I agree with her whenever she's right. It means trying to find something to agree with me on. Well, I can't agree with you on that, Eric, but here's something where I can give a little bit of ground. That shows you're engaged in dialectic instead of rhetoric, that you're engaged in cooperation. I'm not looking for her to agree with me all the time at all, anything of the sort. I'm looking for her to show that we're on the same page, that even though she might not agree with me, she wants the conversation to end with both of us happy. And she doesn't. She doesn't want it to end that way. So, I mean, you know, I mean, I'm not TIing my way through an FE situation. I'm TIing, I'm FIing, I'm FEing, I'm N'ing, I'm doing everything I possibly can. I approach her with honest vulnerability all the time. I'm getting emotional right now. I approach her with good FE all the time. But she is constantly on the look out for a sneak attack by me, even if I never do that. I have been screaming at the top of my lungs at her. What have I been screaming? Fucking relationship psychology gobbledygook. Like, I'm just looking to have you compromise with me. We need to have a loving, healthy relationship. These are the words that I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. It's like if you transcribed it, you wouldn't have a problem with the goddamn word of it. But if you refuse to listen to my words, refuse to trust me, refuse to give up control, you're making it impossible for me. I am suffering. My ISFJ wife is similar. It's impossible to get her to admit wrong or deal with conflict. I always have to bring up the conversation like a friendly camp counselor and keep it light, even if I'm crazy pissed. Well, see, I need her to understand that I'm only pissed because she's not working with me in terms of finding things where she can agree she's wrong and I can agree I'm wrong and whatever. Being compromised, negotiating. She won't negotiate with me. That's the problem. No, there's no diet or health issues. Look, a lot of people are completely full of shit and they think diet matters or something like that. Diet does not matter at all, okay? It makes no difference whatsoever to anything. And unfortunately, a lot of FI types have gotten us in our head that what you eat matters a lot. In fact, your body is designed to take out what it needs from the food you eat and poop out the rest. That's what it does. And so we don't have to worry about diet ever. That's fucking idiotic, and I fucking hate that. I had two therapists bring up diet with me on different occasions, and I said, okay, please take your fucking dietary mumbo jumbo and shove it up your ass. I hate that shit. Might have been sturdy. That might have a role in it for sure. That feeling it, getting a lot of critique from you and other people, mostly beta quadra people. I think beta quadra people have a problem with it. I think it's because they don't really understand the situation. Sure, when I'm feeling emotionally vulnerable, I'm looking to my partner to support me and be there as a rock for me. So when I am sort of in turmoil like that, and I turn to my partner, it's kind of a test, but it's a test that I want her to pass. I want her to be there to support me and love me and comfort me and stuff like that, Now, regarding the issues that people have been all upset about me about Becky, they just don't understand the situation. It's like, I didn't betray Becky's trust at all. She didn't invest any trust in me. She never talked to me about how to manage this. The last thing she did after being rude to me for 4 or 5 days was leave my house with both middle fingers raised, basically. I gave her ample opportunity to contact me and talk to me about this. She didn't want to invest any trust in me regarding the narratives. She thought she could control them from afar without talking to me about it at all. And she thought that she had expectations she made assumptions that she never confirmed with me. She never talked to me about. She never worked with me at all on how she liked her narrative to be told. So, I mean, there's the problem, right? It's like, you can't blame me for betraying her trust. She didn't invest any trust in me. She wasn't willing to discuss with me how she wanted the narrative told. She wasn't willing to discuss anything with me. She ran away in terror. So, is it possible for an INFJ to do what you're wanting him to do? Is there evidence for that? I'm curious. Yeah, I mean, I grew up my entire life in my family with my mom, who was an ISFJ, who interacted with people as I do and my father do, which is to say, anytime my mom and I had a problem, I said, hey, Mom, I don't like Mia. she and I would both find something that we would agree with and concede and work towards common ground and negotiate to a solution. MC Drama Bear, as far as the sex stuff goes, it's a secondary issue of conflict because I want us to be more, exploratory in those ways and find ways that she could be to make her happy, and make her more satisfied in general. She's not interested in that. It requires trust on her end. She can't trust. Well, Might Have Been 30, you may critique me all you want, but I've yet to hear from anybody a legitimate critique. I didn't do anything wrong. You say it didn't need to be discussed. Becky came here and participated in many films with me in which she was all over Shane and was clearly not trying to hide it from the camera, not trying to hide it from the conversation. She assumed that it wouldn't come up until after she got back, but she never asked me about that or talked to me about that. All she had to do at any point was call and say that to me. What Becky did express to me, she didn't want me to publish that song. I said, I won't then, Becky. She came to my house, stayed with me for 3 or 4 days. And when I tried to discuss with her the fact that during that entire period, she was ignoring all the other house guests, she left with both middle fingers raised and left me with a narrative that has to be explained. She gave me no guidance as to how she'd like me to explain it. When I asked to talk with her about it, there was no interest in doing so. So I'm not scary. You're not understanding the circumstances. And you're thinking this is some sort of Beta Quadra dominance play. That's what I've determined. Beta Quadra thinks I'm trying to dominate here or something. Not at all. This is democratic, not aristocratic. And that's why Beta Quadra doesn't get it. They keep viewing it as though we're aristocratic. If we were aristocratic, you'd be right. If I were trying to make a point or something, you'd be right. I'm not trying to make a point. I'm just living my life as I always do, dealing with the things that I encounter as a moral agent appropriately. That's all I can do. I'm not planny like that. I don't seek to get back at people by there's not any of that shit going on. I'm telling the story and she's not leaving me any choice. She didn't give me any other options. It does to me. It's my fucking life story. This is my autobiography. I thought it was important that those details make it into the autobiography. Why? Well, because they were absolutely relevant and explained a bunch of other shit. They linked into a bunch of other stories. I cannot talk meaningfully about my own life without mentioning Becky, who's been a significant part of it until she came here recently. And I'm not going to lie about my own life on my own autobiography. If she wanted me to work with her, fine. Then she's invested trust in me. I like to pay back trust. I don't like to betray it. If she doesn't invest any trust in me, she can't expect me not to betray it. I mean, look, Might Have Been 30, you keep disagreeing with me on this point, but I've yet to hear anything that I've actually done that was wrong. You've yet to say anything that I did that was wrong. Keep in mind, what was the actual outcome? She broke up with him on the trip now. She called him and broke up with him. That was the outcome. So she didn't get to use him to keep her life convenient while she came out here and cheated on him. Keep in mind, I mean, she did, but she didn't get to steal all his dignity. He got a little dignity back at the end. Keep in mind, the damage that he takes from her cheating on him is going to be exacted on future women, as the damage I took from my first relationship when I was cheated on was exacted on future women. It's not the case that everyone disagrees with me. Might Have Been 30. It's absolutely not the case. I've gotten comments to the contrary as well. But most importantly, even if I am guilty of some malfeasance, the reason you can't provide any example of what it is you realize that if in fact I've done something bad, as you try to name it, that Becky's done something much worse and you're critiquing the wrong guy, right? You're more concerned about my compelling Becky's boyfriend to be informed of what she was doing a few days early than you are about him, about what she did, about her rudeness as a house guest, about anything else. You're more concerned about the fact that I told the truth about what happened than any of the actual wrongdoings done. Why is that? Can you explain that, Miterman's Dirty? You can't. Nobody requested it. Becky has not talked to me. She has not called me and requested I take down any video. But that's fine, Miterman's Dirty. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Thing is, I'm a good person, right? So I don't delete any of those critiques. I hear them. If they and where they are fair, I will agree with them. If you make a critique of something I did wrong, regardless of whether somebody else did more wrong, I will concede that it wasn't appropriate for me to do that. So here I am, being accountable, ready to hear your critiques. You haven't made any. You haven't made any critiques, Miterman's Dirty. She wrote in the comments. She can call me. I haven't read the comments. I've been fighting with Kimberly. I'm busy. I haven't read those comments. So why is the burden on me to find her communication? Why didn't she call me? I'm willing to follow those house rules. I'm not concerned about him. Back up, you're right. I'm concerned about her unwillingness to talk to me about something legitimate. But I'm not trying to punish her at all. And I do recognize the reality that he has interests here too. I'm not just ignoring his interests like everybody else seems to be. That doesn't mean I care about him. Okay, well then make a good critique, back up. Make a good critique. What's the good critique? I'm not going to read it. The ball's in her court. She can call me and talk to me humbly, like I've indicated. Otherwise, I'm not helping her. I'm just making the problem worse. Why would I couldn't ask her, Ahmed Assam. Remember, our last communication was me asking her such questions and her leaving my house with both middle fingers raised in no uncertain terms to refuse to speak to me. So don't tell me I didn't try to communicate with her. Don't tell me I didn't give her plenty of opportunity to communicate with me. I did. Don't tell me all of us here didn't give her ample cues that, hey, she needed to address a couple of things. We did. So sorry, no. Now, when I get around to the comments, since it's not important enough for her to call me, then she's going to have to wait till I get around for the comments. If it were important enough for her to call me, she can call me. My response is always going to be to make a video. Might have been dirty. This is the way I deal with my life. I tell the truth about it, about my own problems, even when they make me look bad. I don't take this video down or retract from my position because you've not given me a good reason to. I would love to. I don't like all the FE critique. I don't enjoy feeling scrutinized and damned by a bunch of people who otherwise typically think I'm worth listening to. I don't like that. I would rather not do that. Give me a good reason to believe that I did something wrong, so I can agree with you and make amends and try to return myself to a status of acceptable in people's eyes. The problem is, what Pauk says is true. I'd choose the objective truth over my cheating girlfriend explaining what she did anytime. I would too. You say I don't care about him. He's a factor in my decision making. You know? The thing is, still, I've been told nuts. I'm nuts. I'm not going to acknowledge any good critiques. Give me a good critique. I haven't heard one. I'm still waiting for one. You keep saying things like I'm nuts and I won't acknowledge critiques, but you're not making any critiques. I'm nuts is not a critique. So make it. Make your argument so I can respond to it. Otherwise, you're just making personal attacks. time to adjust my life. I know. I mean, it definitely is. I may end up breaking up with Kimberly. I may be going back to live with my parents so I can. I have not read her comment, MJ. This is the first time I've heard about anybody requesting me taking down that video. It's the very first time I've heard about it, this live stream. So don't, and I am not being remotely dishonest. As always, I'm not being dishonest. This is the very first time I've heard about anybody requesting me take down any video about Becky. The very first time. And here you guys are pretending as though this is a valid critique. Nobody has asked me to take it down. And even now, as far as I'm concerned, Becky hasn't asked me to take it down. You guys have informed me that she said something about it in the comments. Why is all the burden on me? Why can't she call, if it's so important for her to get it taken down, why doesn't she call me if it's urgent? If it's urgent, why doesn't she call me? I didn't watch his video. You're right. I was in the middle of fighting for my relationship. I've got other shit going on. Your unsubstantiated petty critiques of my behavior are irrelevant to me at the moment because I'm obviously much more concerned about my relationship with Kimberly. I mean, Becky needs to fucking have her come to Jesus moment and get over her shit and realize that she brought her own fucking self into this shit. If she wants to talk to me, she can call me. Period. I don't want to fucking waste my time thinking about any of that shit anyway. It's irrelevant to me at the moment because I've got something much more substantial going on. Yeah, I mean, it is a lot of FI issues. I hate fucking FI and being dragged down into it and being maintained. Was it possible for you to tell Becky if you don't tell your boyfriend, I will, and message him personally instead of finding out on video? No, because why? When I tried to talk to Becky, she ran away with both middle fingers raised. So I wasn't able to talk to her. She wasn't willing to talk to me. Anything I tried to say to her was crossing a personal boundary. So, no, it wasn't possible for you to do that. She made it impossible for me to do that. That was the problem. If she were willing to talk to me, we would never have had any problem. But she wasn't willing to talk to me honestly and openly and fairly and directly. She wanted to manipulate shit. And I wasn't letting her do that. So that's what happened. I'm not weaseling around web building, making it more complicated than it is. MJ, this is the first fucking time I have heard that anybody's asked me to take that video down. Is that complicated or are you a fucking liar? It is as simple as fuck. It's the first time I've heard it. I'm not deceiving you. So if it is in fact the case, then why don't you answer my fucking question? Why doesn't she call me? Why is all the burden on me? You tell me that, MJ. You sit here fucking wanting to talk shit about me, and not a single one of you fucks has said one thing that's a legitimate critique. It's just your beta quad of a fucking unreliable untrustworthiness. Here's the thing. It's totally unacceptable for Becky to do that shit. She's Alpha Quadra. I expect it from Beta Quadra. Fucks. That's if. Give me a fucking critique or shut your fucking face. You haven't said a goddamn thing that's a legitimate critique of me. Not a goddamn thing. And I'm sitting here asking you to. Give me a real critique so I can respond to it. Oh, you won't respond to any critique. Taylor's already tried and you didn't listen to him. I'm not responsible to go seek out fucking everybody's thoughts on everything. I'm busy. I got shit to do. Fucking retards. I am so reasonable. You're not saying anything. You're not saying anything. Am I going to take it down then? You know now. Well, I haven't read her comment. If in fact I just have your words to take for it, for what Becky says, why should I take your word for what Becky says? After all, you aren't honest. You aren't saying anything. You keep claiming you're saying shit, but you're not. So why should I take your word for anything? The truth hurts who? You? MJ? My truth is you've not said anything that's a legitimate critique of me. Anybody who wants to make a legitimate critique of me, say, Eric, here's where you did wrong. You betrayed her trust, for example. Here's where you did wrong. It wasn't up to you to talk about your story. Or here's what you were doing wrong, or whatever. The reason you were struggling with Kimberly, the same reason, and you can't see if you fucked up regarding the Becky videos. Listen, again, You can't explain how I fucked up regarding the Becky videos. That's the problem, Might Have Been's Dirty. You keep saying that. You keep making the claim that I fucked up, but you haven't given me any reason why I should feel guilty or bad about doing something wrong. You haven't addressed anything I've said. So you're just talking with your feelings. I'm not. Even if I'm very emotional, I'm talking logically. Even when I'm screaming, I'm talking logically. Even when I'm very frustrated, I'm making fair points and good points and agreeing with people when they're right and so forth. My tone does not make me unreasonable, back up. It's your failure to address what I'm saying that makes you unreasonable. I'm addressing what you're saying. I'm reading your comments and answering them. You're patient zero of FI issues. I mean, if FI pollers FI issues, again, that's a personal attack. You're not warranting it with anything. You haven't made any points. And then I know now. So, but why would it need to come down now? I mean, after all, the horrible thing I did was let her boyfriend know a few days early from when she was going to the table. So if that's the big damage I did, then why should I take it down? I mean, I'm willing to. All Becky has to do is ask me. But she has to ask me. It's going to cost her a little bit of her pride, right? She can call me and ask me. She can talk to me. Anytime. Happy to talk to her. But you want to put all the burden on me, right? You're going to put all the burden on me. And what I also said, let me be absolutely clear. I said, if somebody wants me to take a video down and they talk to me about it, I usually will. That was referring to, in no uncertain terms, videos in which they are a part of it. She refused to be a part of that video by refusing to talk to me. She doesn't have any say over whether that video comes up or down because she's not in it. That's my story. What do you think? I haven't watched that video. I've been busy fighting with Kimberly and shit. Anyway, it doesn't matter what they say. It really doesn't. I'm willing to hear all of everyone's critiques. Bring them to me, fine. I'm not going to go out of my way to seek them. I'll agree with you when you're right. I won't when you don't make a point. And that's it. Do I think it was cool for Taylor to mention Kimberly in the video and that shit? Yeah, okay, fine. It's fine. I mean, I'm open to that shit. I'm not trying to have a double standard here. I'm absolutely open to critique. Okay, if Becky asked me to take the video down, and that is a fact, which I will trust you on, that is a fact, my house rules dictate that regarding videos that they are a part of, not my videos. Like, for example, if MJ, you decided you wanted me to take down this video, I would say no. Right? If you decided you wanted me to take down a video, like a music video or something that I made, I would say no. You have no say in that at all. So that's about what? It would be terribly easy to not address Becky's absence if a viewer did not notice. How easy would it be to say Becky had to go home or something along those lines? Oh, see, I'm not like that. I don't want to lie to people, my friends. I don't like lying. I generally don't lie. And regardless, this live stream is another example of what is an ongoing reality. What is talking with famous people above all else? It is my autobiography. I am talking about all kinds of shit that happens to me. You're asking me why I didn't, in the absence of Becky making any effort to communicate with me or include me in her decision-making process regarding my narrative. I don't know. Okay, well, listen, again, Becky can call me. Why can't Becky call me, MJ? Why is it Becky doesn't need to call me to talk to me? Why is it that she gets to tell me that she doesn't like me telling the truth in a comment that I haven't read yet, and I'm supposed to have already understood that to be the case and taken it down? Now, I pointed out that this is the first time I've heard about it, right? None of you have said, oh, shit, we jumped to conclusions. We had assumed things that were not true and judged you, Eric, based on those false assumptions. None of you have said that. So go on, say that. Say that to me. Show me that you too are being reasonable. Right? That's fine, Might Have Been Dirty. I have no problem taking down the video. I'm not saying I'm not going to take it down. Right? I didn't say that. I didn't say I'm not going to take it down. And MJ, if you're saying that I should take it down because there's an unfair threat against me and that it might actually end up doing me a great deal of harm, fine. But then phrase it that way. You can't, if that's why I want to do it because Becky's a threat and she intends ill on me and is malice in that fashion, then say that. Okay, well then fine. She can cut me out of her life and say I'm toxic, fine. But then if she's cut me out of her life, then it doesn't matter what she thinks, right? I don't care what she thinks about it. Now, if you're saying she's cut me out of her life and she's malicious and is going to falsely report me in order to get me busted for something I didn't do, well, then say that. Then say that. And I will agree with you. Okay, well, that's good enough reason for you to take it down. No, MJ, I'm tired of babying you. I'm saying say what you mean. Say what you mean. Don't try to fucking bullshit me. Right? You say what you mean. Might have been dirty. That what you're saying, everyone should report the video. For what? For what? It's not guilty of anything. It's telling the truth about shit that happened at my house. It's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Everyone should report the video. My name is dirty. You've got to have some morals, some ethics. Don't attack me and my video, my legitimate activity, just because you don't like the way it makes you feel. It's not acceptable. That's wicked. Jesus Christ. Does nobody have any fucking sense of ethics around here? My opinion's dirty. I'm not embarrassing myself. What I'm doing is addressing what you're saying. Something I'm sure in a comparable situation you would not do me the courtesy of. I'm quite confident of that, based on your current response. That in a comparable situation, you would not do me the courtesy of hearing my critiques and listening to them and responding to them on point. You've not made any legitimate critiques yet. Not one. You're right. I discussed a personal situation that will, in return, affect her whether she was morally correct or incorrect. So, okay, what I'm saying is I did discuss her personal situation. And so did she. And so did she. She knowingly and willingly and willfully chose to reveal on those videos, in every picture I have of her, of every clip we took, that she's with Shane. She's with Shane. She chose to reveal that. Okay? She knows there's no way for me to even make a video about her inclusion this week that doesn't show her rubbing up all on Shane. So the only thing she's upset about is that her boyfriend found out before she got back rather than after. That's the only thing she's upset about. That is the only thing she's upset about. Right? She revealed all of those details in everything she did on every one of those video clips. She was not trying to hide from her boyfriend what she was doing. She was not trying to keep a secret. She was trying to do it on her timetable so she could finish using him to make her life more convenient while she wallowed in her sin in California, having promised him in no uncertain terms and having convinced him with all of her might that she was trustworthy. But I'm not even fucking busting her chops about that shit. I'm just saying you left me in a state where I was annoyed at you and you were making false arguments on the flow, and I felt the need to respond to them. If you want to say, Eric, I think that was a little impulsive. Perhaps if you had thought about it more, you would have chosen a slightly higher ground or something. Fine. I'm not willing to disagree with you. I mean, I'm not going to disagree with that. I'm not trying to say it was the best decision I've ever made. But I would point out that nobody here has given me any good reason to think that I'm the one who should be savaged when all I did was reveal information to her boyfriend a few days earlier than he otherwise would have gotten it. And the reason is because the natural flow of the trip was disrupted when she ran away in terror rather than face a single simple critique from any of us about her behavior. I mean, I'll delete the video. I don't care. MJ, now look, this is annoying. You're ignoring what I've already told you about the house rules. That's for when somebody's in the video. It's for if you're in a video and you want me to take down, then that's the rules. It's for the raw room shit. It's not for my videos on my channels that I'm making where I'm talking. Might have been dirty. You're not working with me. I'm willing to take it down, I'm saying, but you don't care. You're shaming me because I haven't read those comments yet. Think. Use your fucking brain. I got on this live stream this morning to talk about how my relationship is likely coming to an end when Kimberly wakes up. Okay, but you're not giving me an out then, because that's not the house rules. You're asking me to pretend those are the house rules. But I'm not like that. I don't lie like that. I don't deceive. I'm not dishonest in that fashion. It's the one principle I try to stick to above all else. And nobody seems to think it matters at all. Listen, I will take it down. Sport. I will take it down. But you don't want me to take it down because you're more interested in taunting me than in getting an outcome you think is good. She doesn't. Why do I owe? Why do I owe her not telling my story? She doesn't owe shit. Nobody's saying she owes a shit. I'm saying I'm telling my fucking story and I'm getting a bunch of fucking grief, but nobody's giving me any actual reason why I should be condemned here. No, nobody's condemning Becky, even though she actually did something wrong. You know? So I'm not saying Becky owes me any shit. Everybody's saying I owe Becky something. And nobody's giving me a good reason why. Might have been dirty. Again, you're not trying to talk to me like a human being. You're trying to troll me or dismiss me or not hear me or not take me seriously. My ego is not out of control. I'm trying to have a real conversation with people right now. I'm trying to have a real conversation with you. You just keep attacking me, but I'm such a decent person that I continue to have a real conversation with you and get through to you and have a real conversation. But you don't want to do that. You just want to keep attacking me. I'm out. It's the OPS. Eric stopped the live stream. The cops showed up. What was the OPS? It's the cops. I don't know. Well, anyway, what I'm trying to talk about today, and I've been sidetracked from it, is it's kind of been nice actually to get. I was feeling so panicky and sad in the. And yeah, I'll take that video down. I never even thought taking it down. Nobody ever asked me to before. I've never even said no to that for a second. And everyone's like, "Why would you take it down, Mom? Fuck off!" It's the first time I've freaking heard about it. And everyone's like, "Jesus Christ, Eric, what a horrible person you are for not agreeing to take it down." Nobody asked me to take it down, and I'm in no way, shape, or form obligated to. And I didn't do anything wrong, and nobody's been able to articulate what I have, and yet I'm still going to take it down just to make everybody happy. So, if that's not satisfying to you, might have been dirty or whoever else, you can seriously take everything you have in your cabinet and shove it up your fucking ass. Thank you, Shamanda. Thank you for your favorite part was when I yelled fucking retards at all of you. Yeah, that's called good good people skills. Anyway, I mean, I don't care what her comment is, frankly. I've got bigger fish to fry right now. I'm about to lose my fucking relationship. It's like, I'm pretty sure Kim and I are breaking up today. No, I won't read all the comments out loud to you now and give us your thoughts, Might Have Been Dirty. I'm moving on to something I actually do want to talk about. Not because I'm avoiding your condemnation or avoiding your critique or you're avoiding your observations or anything. I am not avoiding those. I'd be happy to take it down. The point is, if Becky is going to critique me at all rather than talk about where she did wrong, we know we're on the wrong page. Because nobody's been able to articulate what I did wrong. You say you can't articulate yourself. You go read those comments. They articulate. I can't, but those comments will. No, you fucking articulate it. You're the one making the claim. I don't think it does constitute a revocation of a right to privacy. She wouldn't talk to me at all about what she thought, how to spend this, what narrative to tell. She didn't want to talk to me at all about it. She didn't want to exercise any of the entitlement to privacy I might afford her by invoking it at all, by investing any trust in me. Now, note, of course, it's critical to remember, there is no right to privacy. There are reasonable expectations to privacy, and I respect those. There are entitlements to privacy that I might afford someone because they're my friend, but that requires them to invest some trust in me. So, I'm not somebody who likes to quote unquote violate someone's privacy. Keep in mind for the millionth fucking time that she was not maintaining any privacy at all. I cannot avoid hearing her have sexual intercourse when she does it that loud and that persistently next door to my room when I'm home, when she knows we're all there. Okay? She can take some measures to preserve her privacy, right? I cannot help her preserve her privacy if she insists on being all rubbing up all and kissing Shane every video clip I take, knowing that I'm taking the video clip. But nobody wants to actually think about these realities when they're talking about this. They assume I've done something wrong. It's like, think about it. If I'm filming her in TWFP Camp Week and she's kissing up on Shane and rubbing up all on him and stuff, is she concerned about keeping that private? No. She is concerned about being able to continue to use her boyfriend back in Canada conveniently for the next few days so none of her shit gets interfered with at all, and then she'll tell him. Like, I could spend a lot of time passing moral judgment on this. She has a responsibility to this person she's been with for like 5 years to just tell him before she does it, right? To not break the one clear bright red line. But I'm not interested in moralizing at her about that, because instead I find myself on the defensive. Even though she's done something genuinely wicked, all of the comments, all the critiques are about me. It's like somebody said here, the messenger always gets shot. Well, I'm a messenger who is himself well armed. And I am not only annoyed at the fact the messenger is being shot, but I am annoyed at the fact that messengers get shot at all. And my goal is to stop that. We are going to focus on actual wrongdoings. We are not going to focus on unsubstantiatable feelings shit. I could have taken a better road, but that would be saying I failed to uphold an affirmative indication that I should have upheld. And that would be something I might be able to agree with if you could articulate it. I'm not trying to disagree with everything you're saying. I would like to find common ground where I can say, yeah, this is an affirmative indication I should have upheld and I didn't. And that was my fault. But you're not giving me anything to work with. Give me nothing. I'm not interested in talking about this or thinking about this right now at all, MJ, for the obvious reason that my relationship of 2.5 years is about to come to an end almost for sure, which is what I got in here to talk about this morning, which is why I've not been reading those comments, which is I have my own issues over here that take precedence. And I don't care how many commenters comment, what I continue to be unavoidably aware of is the fact that nobody here is giving me anything I can sink my teeth into. If those comments are so great, you read one, copy and paste one here. Why are you putting the burden on me? I mean, all I want is to have an opportunity to have a real conversation with somebody, whether it be Kimberly or Becky. When Kimberly will not have a real conversation with me and trust that I'm working with it honest goodwill, which is to say, like, look, I do have to talk about something where I have a little bit of an issue with something you did, Kimberly, but I'm working for our benefit and I have honest goodwill here. Can you listen to me and take me seriously? That's all I mean, and that's what I mean. I don't mean you have to agree with me. I don't mean anything like that. Thank you, Amber Thrasher. You're the best. That really makes me feel emotional this morning for all the fucking hate I've been getting. I'm a third slot FE guy, right? I need to know that this shit validates on FE grounds as well. And obviously that video doesn't validate on FE grounds. But I refuse to say it doesn't validate on TI grounds, which is what everybody keeps trying to tell me. And they don't have any. They don't have. Well, then copy and paste something. If somebody in the stream is convinced that there's a comment in that comment thread there that would convince me, that there's some argument that's not been made yet that would convince me, then cut and paste that. Because I mean, that's all I'm asking you for is make an actual argument I can sink my teeth into. What's the positive indication that in an ideal world I ought to have held but failed to? Fine, then I'm not guilty of any technical wrongdoing, but I'm guilty of not being as good a person as I should be. And I will accept that critique. Okay, but what's the argument? There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to copy and paste the warrant, the key argument that I'm not hearing. You know, it's like, I'm not a victim. Back up. I am a person who is battling against people who don't want to communicate with me, including you. You want to say poor Eric is such a victim. I'm trying to actually communicate with you and reach consensus on this point. But you just want to attack me. So that's the difference between us. You're ignoring the opportunity to talk about the real issue. Ignore all this BS and think about her and you and what you want to address. Yeah, okay. No, I didn't think she was going to be my savior at all. No, not at all. I mean, the thing is, I was the last person to get annoyed because I'm an EHP myself. I know how to play by myself just fine. You know, the thing is, Roe is the most. That's not a real argument. That's an FE attack, right? There's no disputing that. You are making just an FE attack here. You're not actually trying to engage me. He is the one who abandoned himself and continues to abandon himself through denial, delusion, drugs, distraction. So look, this is just, you're just attacking me. You're not making any kind of arguments. You're not actually engaging me as a human being. You're saying, don't listen to Eric. Don't take him seriously. His words don't matter. His ontology doesn't matter because he is abandoning himself through denial, delusion, drugs, distraction, etc. So everything he's saying is filtered through this frame of invalidity. I am committing the ultimate ontological violence against Eric. Well, Rasmus, you can do that, but it will not work against me. It may convince other people, but it will not convince me. I understand my own value and humanity. I understand that I'm trying to communicate fairly with you. I'm trying to communicate fairly with everybody. And I respect the fact that you don't have to be reasonable with me in return. But if you just want to slander me with FE attacks, understand that I'm not going to be fooled by it, you know? Make a real point. I'm willing to concede where I'm wrong. I'm happy to accept constructive critique. But you've got to make, that's not constructive critique, you know? Telling me that, oh, that was just you copying and pasting. Sorry, you were doing the thing I told you to, and I shit on you for it. My bad. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, the thing is, like that shit is like Eric has a problem, right? That's not an argument about what I did. That's a character assassination. It's like Eric is fundamentally broken in some way. Eric is projecting. Eric, those kind of like emotional shit, like that kind of like intentionality critique, dismissal of a person. It's the problem, right? It's the problem. I'm not, to think that you can analyze this by doing some sort of psychoanalysis of my mental illness or failing or something, is to treat none of us as though we were human beings. I'm not treating Becky like that. I'm saying Becky did something bad. I'd like to see her be okay, you know? Did I give you $99 earlier? I don't think so. Or maybe you're talking to somebody else. I don't know. I asked Eric to take my video down. He apologized right away and took it down. I believe he's honorable. Exactly. Becky hasn't communicated with me in that fashion. You know, in that instance, and what I apologized for specifically was I didn't go out of my way enough to confirm that she was okay with that. Not even that she said don't put it up and I did anyway. It was my fault because I had indicated to her I needed to confirm that. I didn't adequately confirm that first. And it was my fault. And I did apologize. Because that's a reasonable thing, a reasonable critique. Anytime anybody makes a reasonable critique of me, I hear it. I want to hear it. I want to be a good person. I don't want to be a bad person. I want to listen to everybody's correct critiques of me and adjust accordingly. Unfortunately, if you don't make any, I can't embrace them. What correlated with her experience? You know? Look, I'm not saying being in a presence or appearing in chat is necessary. I'm saying I haven't seen those comments. I didn't read those comments because I was busy with my own relationship problems. The first time I heard about them is this chat here, this live stream, when somebody brought it to my attention. I'm not saying that Becky must contact me directly in order to get it taken down. I haven't said I'm not going to take it down. I intend to take it down right after this live stream, now that I know she wants me to take it down. My point is, why doesn't anybody say, oh, maybe I have jumped to some conclusions here. Maybe I'm critiquing Eric unfairly. Why doesn't anybody say that? Because I'm willing to say that if I've been unfair. You know? Okay, but MJ, maybe I'm anxious and eager to understand better. But MJ and Senjen and everybody who's critiquing me on this, if you aren't willing to understand better too, then you're assuming things that you need to leave open as questions. Because, like I've said, the only legitimate critique I could even imagine, and even this wouldn't really be a legitimate critique of my negative obligations, just of my positive indications, is that I should have taken the video down, provided I knew she told me to take it down or asked me to take it down. I did not know that. I haven't heard it until this live stream. So that's not a legitimate critique. To say that I should have sought out her position on it when I was in the middle of relationship fights of my own is putting a burden on me that there's no business putting that burden on me. So, I mean, look, I have other things in my life other than this Becky issue. And the fact is, whatever you guys are critiquing me about with Becky, I will remind you again and again and again that I may be imperfect and have committed some sort of shortcoming here. I maybe should have done something different. I maybe even did something wrong, although I've yet to get a reason why I can sink my teeth to as to why that would be. But regardless, note who you are attacking here and who's actually done something wrong. And I'm not even interested in fucking condemning her for it. I'm just saying, if you're so interested in condemning, why are you so interested in condemning me? I don't hear anything about Becky's bad behavior. I'm willing to be party to this, but I mean, there's got to be some sort of mutuality here and some sort of sense that the other party is also interested in dialectic. Right now, what I'm getting from those who are criticizing me on this is that they are not interested in dialectic at all. They just want to condemn me. So if you're interested in dialectic, then that means acknowledging some things on your end. Okay, you know what, Eric? Actually, you didn't violate any sort of negative moral indication. That's for sure. We can agree on that. Now you're working with me, and I can see where I can maybe have been more polite or dealt with things differently or whatever, you know? because then we're dealing with each other as human beings. If you're just making ontological attacks, like Mighty Ben's Dirty has been doing, okay, well, fine then. But the thing is, you seem to think it's more important to tell me and critique me about my behavior that's not obvious than it is to tell her about her behavior, which is obvious. If it's so obvious, thank you, Zaylen Black. No, don't be sorry at all. I really do appreciate the gesture. It's like it's a show of support that I'm trying my fucking best here to be a moral agent and to hear everybody's concerns and take them seriously. And it's frustrating to me when my words are not taken seriously, that nobody affords me the benefit of the doubt that I am well-intentioned and a good, decent human being who is motivated to try to get better. No, they've made all kinds of personal critiques, Shreddy Chandran. I've been told that I have issues, that I mean, if you scroll back up, you'll see a lot of personal attacks. So none of them are about the actual issue, which is how and why I'm responsible for wrongdoing. I did give Becky the chance. Yes, you're right, Roesmos. Thank you. Roesmos says you haven't done anything irrational. You're currently dealing with the fact that this platform can shape the narrative emotionally. All people feel that you haven't given Becky a chance to respond before you put the problem on camera, and it's irrational because you have given Becky the chance. Indeed, right? She wants to both be able to respond and involve herself in the conversation and control the narrative, and she can't have both. So she's trying to play the sympathy card, I guess, or something. Well, the burden does exist to seek out her opinion consent when you decided to share her personal information. No, she decided to share her personal information. She's the one who decided to kiss on Shane while I'm filming them, for example. So she's made the decision there to share that information. She just didn't like that I didn't facilitate her continuing to use her boyfriend as a means to an end to enable her to freely wallow in her sin without worrying about logistics. That's what I didn't enable her to do. So don't fool yourself, anybody. She chose to make public her behavior. She just didn't want it on the timetable that it was on. But I, in doing what I did impulsively and just because I needed to vent or whatever, I actually ended up restoring some dignity to her boyfriend. She didn't get to exploit him all the way that she wanted to. Now, everyone says, well, you don't care about him, Eric. I mean, I don't care about her either, frankly. That's not the point. The point is a matter of principles. If I am guilty of violating some sort of principles I should have upheld, then I need to be held to account for it. And I'm willing to do so. And I'm frustrated that nobody's able to articulate what those are. Anyway, I keep trying to talk about the fact that I'm pretty sure when Kimberly gets up in a while that we're going to break up. And the reason we're going to break up is because I just, it's like I said to her last night, we've got to resolve this one way or the other. You either got to climb on my horse with me and be a teammate and work with me and want to. No, I didn't watch Taylor's video about this. I've been having my own issues. I'm not jealous of Shane. You gotta be this is the thing. People want to make these kind of critiques. I'm jealous of Shane. I really expected Becky to be my savior or whatever. Critiques of my emotional state or psychological state are completely fucking off base. I'm not remotely jealous of Shane. I'm not interested in Becky at all. I was very interested in her as a human being because I saw very much of myself in her. If anything, I saw her like a daughter clone type person, which is probably affording her too much temporary interest, but that's how it is to be an EHP, is we get into shit briefly and then we move on to other shit, I was interested in what she had to say. I was not flirting with her. I wasn't attracted to her. I didn't want to get with her. I have my own relationship. I'm not jealous of Shane. I'm not putting too much faith in Becky or anything. None of that shit. Was I disappointed by how completely she fell short of expectations? Sure. I mean, but making it some sort of like bullshit is not going to help. The fact that Taylor said that, I mean, he may or may not know that he's just being a worthless little bitch, but I'll make sure he does know that if he said that. I will watch that. If he's saying things like, I'm jealous of Shane, then, I mean, he's sunk to Minor Ben's dirty level. He's just attacking me. You know, it's like there's no reason to think that at all. Why would I want to get with fucking Becky? I can't get a word in edgewise with the bitch. And likewise with her. I mean, it would be the fact that two people who want to be center stage all the time shouldn't and wouldn't work well together is obvious to anybody. I had not a shred of attraction to Becky at any point. So, you know, sure, I wanted Becky's time, was disappointed. I was the least disappointed of anybody, by the way. I want to stress this. Everybody else was disappointed. She made a lot of promises to everybody who was coming here. And here's a fun one, too. About a week before she and Shane started getting hot and heavy in the Raw room, she had made clear indications to other people that, hey, we're going to have some fun when we get there. I don't know any of this shit, right? I don't know any of this shit, but whatever. No, she did. No. Shane and Becky did go places with us. For example, we went downtown to Chinatown area and stuff like that. And when we all sit in a group, and Shane and Abraham and Susie and me and Kim and Spacey would all be talking, and Becky would be her face pressed into the side of Shane's head or her face on her phone. I mean, honestly, she wasn't physically traveling. I'm saying she literally didn't talk. Even when Shane was willing to engage with the group, no problem. Just have, when we're having a group conversation, Shane engages with the group conversation. Becky would literally have her fucking head buried in Shane's hair the whole time. And if she wasn't, she's on her phone. Or if not that, she was complaining about being constipated. And the only reason I even said or did anything is because I got tired of constantly getting complaints. Kimberly was continually saying, wringing her hands and being like, Becky's really annoying Abraham and fucking Kimberly's reading everybody else's FE, and I just want this shit to run smoothly, right? I don't give a fuck. It's a benefit of being FI polar. If everybody else is happy, I'm fine. But I gotta keep fielding complaints because Becky won't do the bare minimum of FE necessary to keep people happy. So I got frustrated and I made a song about how she was always so busy being on her phone or petting Shane that she didn't have time for anybody, the rest of us. And that's what initiated the whole thing. She didn't like my song. She didn't hear my song. You know how you're like, hey, you will have to watch Taylor's video. She never listened to the song she was mad about. She wouldn't listen to it. Didn't want to listen to it. You know? So there you go. I mean, I don't care what her story is at all. It's like, I'm not trying to tell the truth about her story. I'm telling the truth about my story. She happens to be in it. And she's doing the same thing, except her truths are all lies. So, whatever. She's a big fucking liar, I'll tell you. When she had this health issue, she was trying to get this travel insurance to pay for the medication replacement that she left at home. And she made this big fucking lie up about converting the fact that one of her bags was late from the airport into the airplane had lost her medication, went through this whole fucking thing. She worked hard trying to work this lie into convincing the insurance company to pay for something they shouldn't have paid for. I would never do that. If I don't have the truth on my side, I don't make the arguments. She does. She's off the reservation as far as an EHP goes, and that's just shady ass shit. It's the difference between a good EHP and a bad one. Bad EHPs lie. They have the advantage already with their rhetorical skills, but they lie anyway. That makes them wicked. Yeah, Amber Drasher, it is pot smoking time. Listen, I'm going to smoke this joint. I do care more about Kimberly. I feel though relieved though that Jalen Black to be talking about this in a way because when I'm talking about Kimberly, I'm just feeling sad at the moment. I'm not angry at Kimberly at all. You know, it's like I I still have hope that she's gonna get up and say, you know, I hear you. Because all I'm telling her, and this is the only thing I want from her, is to be on my side. So like last night, she was embarrassed. And I was embarrassed by the fight in front of the friends, right? And so then when she went off on her own with the friends, she directed her energy towards trying to make it be like I was the one who had embarrassed us, not her, you know, like which is fine. It's like it doesn't matter that much, but just another example of her not being a teammate. And I said to her, Kimberly, we have to start talking about things as our problem. You know, you keep wanting to blame me, and I keep pointing out that it's false, and we keep having these big fights and stuff. It's the same problem we always have, and I keep trying to tell you, Kimberly, I need you to be a teammate. I want you to be on my team. I want you to assume that um, that I have your interests in mind and act accordingly. But I can't. I can't do that. Host Eric and TWP who needs a drink of water. I need a drink of water. I have a double gulp of Coke here. So anyway, I really do love Kimberly. This is the thing that I cannot be taken away from. When she and I are not fighting, when there's nothing to dispute, things are golden. I can't imagine a person who integrated into the channel better than Kimberly integrates to the channel. I learned what I wanted in a partner in terms of the integration of the channel by watching Kimberly demonstrate it to me. And I want to be in a relationship with her. She's in so many ways my perfect woman. And at the same time, I can't carry all the weight. Like, she's got to be fair too. And I mean, but see, here's the thing, Kanga Krishna Samapagu. I think the reason Kimberly and I have problems are entirely directed towards, to be perfectly honest, where she deviates from the type norm. And where she deviates from it is because she's got an insecure attachment style. It's the insecure attachment style that causes us to not work out, basically. Because I need her to trust me, and she can't. She doesn't know how. And I can scream at her all I want to trust me. It's not a good way to get her to trust me. But I mean, I get so frustrated, you know? Yeah, I'm not obsessed with Becky at all. I mean, these things are so fucking off base. It frustrates me. It's like I'm subject to FE attacks. You're saying I have FI attachment to Becky. I don't give a fuck about Becky. I liked her for a while. She was fun. She was useful. She was entertaining. I respected her. And then she lost all my respect. So now I don't really give a fuck about her. I mean, I really lost. She really, most of all, what she really fucking lost all respect for, though, is trying to make those kind of fucking arguments, like that, trying to psychologically critique me is the problem, or say that I put too many eggs in her basket, or that I had a crush on her or something. I mean, fuck. Talk about grasping for straws. I know. This is the thing. Oh, thank God Jeebus is here. Well, I would probably have to give an ultimatum, either change or I leave if the problems are this severe. And the thing is, I don't want to give an ultimatum. Backup says, you don't love Kimberly. You've been demanding she change for as long as you've been together. If you love someone, you don't demand they change who you are. No, Backup. I've not been demanding she change. I've been saying, I love you just the way you are. And also it's the case that you need to hear me and take me seriously just as I do that for you. She's not been able to do that yet because she doesn't trust. Doesn't mean I'm trying to change her. It means I'm setting a perfectly reasonable boundary. And I'm saying I have to be in a healthy relationship. I can't be in an unhealthy one. You got to work with me to make this a healthy relationship, which means being fair being loving, working together as a team, stuff like that. Her not being able to do that right now, that's not her backup. It's unfortunate that a lot of people do that to other people. Like they'll go, I'm going to dismiss Kimberly as incapable of a healthy relationship. And that's not fair to her. She is capable. Maybe it's just I'm not the one she's capable of having it with, but someday she will be capable of it. She will be able to, realize her true self, not her fear and her defenses all the time. And so, yeah, I'm not going to let you slander her like that. Relationships have highs and lows. You happen to be a low right now. Good times are around the corner. You're choosing to end bullshit. I mean, okay, fine. I'm happy to accept that. That's what I've told Kim many times things like this, which I told last night. Look, Kim, in the morning, please do the following thing. Please come to me and say, I want to be on your team. I'm ready to take a chance. I'm ready to trust you. I'm ready to take your lead on some of these things. I'm ready to give up some control. Something to indicate to me that you're coming to me to give first. Not to demand, not to take, not to blame. I come to her and give first all the time as a way of trying to model the behavior I want. I come to her first and concede things. I do it all the time. And I just need... I can't be in a relationship where she's unwilling to trust me enough to do that the same sometimes. So, I don't know. Yeah, it's certainly not the case. I'm asking her to change who she is. I'm asking her to be who she is, to nothing ventured, nothing gained, to take the risk of affording me her trust so that she can enjoy the gains of it. I haven't been able to get her to trust me yet. I mean, that may just be my shortcoming. I don't know. Maybe I need more FI. I don't know. But, I keep trying to help her to understand that I'm not asking for anything that anybody would ever disagree with. I'm asking for a relationship in which two partners negotiate, compromise, work towards common ground. I'm not asking for her to defer, to be an underling, to obey, to agree all the time, or anything. I'm asking her to want me to be happy. I am 48 years old. Hi, Psychedelic Toad. Eric, if I get it, Eric, you cannot trust that she will sacrifice for you the way you first, so you believe you have exhausted all the avenues. I mean, and it feels the Dragonfly says she can't give you what she doesn't have yet. But as I've said many times to her, if you can't give me your trust yet at this point, then what do I need to do to earn it? I've not ever betrayed her trust. I've done everything I ought to have done this whole relationship. And if she still doesn't earn it because she thinks I might yell or raise my voice or something, well, then that's where she needs to trust. She needs to be like, okay, I need to trust that when he is raising his voice, that I can listen to his words rather than his tone. That's where she needs to trust. Somewhere she needs to trust so that we can work forward. The difference between you wanting Kim to change and wanting Kim to treat you with respect, please know, though, that you can't make her trust you. She has to be willing to take that leap. I know, that's what I keep telling her. It needs willingness. You have to be willing to make the leap, take the risk, and know that you'll never be in a healthy relationship until you accept that you have to be all in. What exactly kicks off an argument with Kimberly? What is the trigger? Could be anything, but I mean, it's always going to be something that has something slightly negative about Kimberly. An example I gave earlier was I tried to talk to her about. I tried to do teamwork, right? I tried to say, look, remember when you were irritated when I didn't answer your question and I didn't hear your question? Well, we can both learn from that. I realize that sometimes you're in your head and you're not just ignoring me. You just don't hear my question. And sometimes when I'm annoyed because you don't hear my question, maybe now you can see that is kind of annoying, and we can feel each other. We can put each other in each other's shoes. We can do a little FI work here. As soon as I said in the first thing, you know how you were annoyed when I didn't answer your question? She immediately went adversarial. She was like, no, I wasn't annoyed. Well, she was annoyed though, or at least irritated, right? No, I wasn't irritated. Well, at least a little impatient. No, in other words, she's assuming I'm her adversary from the get-go. She's making me fight outside the city gates. Here's a simple fact. Kim was annoyed when I didn't answer her question, at least enough to impatiently prompt me to answer it, right? But because it starts with Kim was annoyed, she's going to disagree with it no matter what and just fight me from the get-go. No, she doesn't give me a chance to do any good work. My good work there was to say, here's how we can both learn the legitimacy of the other person's perspective. But she won't allow me to do the work because it requires her to trust me enough to agree with facts. She won't agree with facts. You know, that's the problem. Most women are insecure, but the fact that she doesn't, at least by Eric's estimation, want to sacrifice for Eric and not be selfish, then that's the problem, not her being insecure. Yeah, that is the problem. I mean, look, her defenses and her fear and it's not insecurity, it's fear of abandonment, basically. It's her insecure attachment style. Means that she's afraid if she gives in to the urge to actually love me and love me properly, that she'll be taken advantage of. She'll be used and tossed aside. That would never happen. But I think that fear is more powerful than yeah, I got distracted there. She has trust issues, yeah. The same way TE should not be used to create dynamic systems to break down TI scrutiny, the same way TI, in my opinion, TI's merits break down. I mean, TI's merits do break down at a certain point, sure. I mean, that's what I'm saying too. It's like, at a certain point, it's about dialectic, and dialectic's about intention. Do you intend to work together with the other person as a teammate, or do you intend to be an adversary? The same exact words might come out of your mouth in two different contexts, you know, like from under both frames, but it'll be a different procession based on what the intention is. You know, it's like Kimberly can be right in her critique of something or wrong in her critique of something or whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is, when I say you were annoyed when I didn't answer your question at the brewery, TI is not the thing that's determining there, right? So let's say she's correct in assessing her own feelings. I can't beat her in that assessment. I can't say, no, I'm more correct about your feelings than you are. So let's say she's correct in it. And in fact, she wasn't annoyed, or at least I can't prove it. The question of whether you're rhetorical or dialectical is whether that I can't prove it thing is what you're hanging your hat on. It's true, I can't prove she was annoyed. Okay, well, to turn, you go Tatum. Instead of accusing her of feeling annoyed, ask her how she felt about it first. Then when she says she wasn't, you still assume she was. It's probably hurtful and makes her feel bad. But see, I wasn't accusing her of feeling annoyed. I was saying, it was something like this, basically. You know how the other day I spoke harshly to you at the store? She would say, yeah, I remember that. Okay. Maybe I should have spoken just about her behavior. Remember at the brewery when you spoke brusquely to me when I didn't answer your question? Would be fine. The point is, it doesn't matter what her feelings are. What matters is that we agree this event happened because I'm going to do something with it, right? I don't need you to agree exactly my term of it. Okay, you weren't annoyed. Fine, irritated then. No, I wasn't irritated. Okay, well, impatient then. No, I wasn't impatient. Okay, well, brusque then. But she's not an FI Dom. And it doesn't matter how she felt, because the point is what she felt was oppositional, adversarial. She wasn't looking to help me find how she actually did feel so that I could use it for what I was trying to do. She was trying to prevent me from having anything to use. That's the problem. You see what I'm saying? I know I am willing to meet Kim halfway. I'm absolutely willing to. I mean, that's the thing. It's not about my side. It's a team thing. It's an us thing. Absolutely. The problem is she's not assuming that I'm going to do good work with what I'm asking her to give me. She assumes I'm going to attack her. So it's like when I say, so remember that time when you were a little annoyed? She assumes I'm going to use that to beat her up. I'm actually going to use that to build us both up and build a team moment for us. This is a good team moment where we can both learn by doing a little self-reflection and acknowledgement, which is necessary. You know, the problem is she never gets to trust me because she never gives me a chance to actually do anything with anything, because she's always preventing me from getting anything to do anything with in the first place. Well, I mean, Tatum, the point is my tone might be scary or whatever, anything like that, and that's fine. And I'm willing to be critiqued about that. And that's the issue. So I'm totally down when people say legit shit to me. What annoys me is when people try to make it about like FE shit that's not about. Like Taylor said something like I had a crush on Becky or was jealous of Shane or something. That's the fucking stupidest bullshit I've ever heard in my life. And if he really thinks that, then I mean, I don't know what his fucking problem is. I need to have a meeting with him and Susie anyway. But regardless of that, which is a totally separate matter. But regardless of that, it's like, Jesus Christ, dude. Come on. Don't be a little bitch. I mean, obviously, that's not the problem here. My moisture is not the problem, obviously. I was the last person to be annoyed, and I was annoyed because Kimberly kept telling me everybody else was annoyed. I kept having this fucking problem dumped on my plate, right? That's annoying. I'm going to react to that. For fuck's sake. As if. Jesus fucking Christ. It's offensive because it positions me as somebody who's at the mercy of his FI all the time. My FI is constantly being provoked, but it's by people's unreasonableness and unwillingness to communicate with me about anything. That's what pisses me the fuck off. It's like, I'm making plenty of points here that Taylor could respond to. Instead, he makes up some fucking bullshit and spreads that as a useful thing to say. Well, no, that's not a useful thing to say. That's just your own fucking bullshit. So, it's like, it makes me think he's weak in some way, because if that's all he can do is actually, instead of responding to what I'm actually saying, makes up made up stories and presents them as explanations. Well, then, I mean, he's just a little bitch. That's it. Now, hopefully that's not actually what happened. I haven't watched the video. I've just heard other people tell me that. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that when I talk to him, he'll explain. I won't even accuse him of anything. I haven't watched it, actually. So I'll just assume he didn't, right? Give him the benefit of the doubt and assume that didn't happen. And if he wants to explain that he made a mistake, or that, he let himself get attacky when he shouldn't have, something, that's fine too. I can easily enough let that shit slide. If he wants to persist in asserting the truth of that statement, well, I mean, I just have to point out that he's making up a story he has no justification for or warrant for. And to the extent that he believes it, that's just weak ass I am not interested in Becky, never have been remotely. And the thing is, of course, hey, fuck off, Taylor, listen to me. Fuck you and the horse you rode in on, because let me be abundantly fucking clear about this. Abundantly fucking clear. Throughout the history of this fucking channel, during any period of time when I was in a relationship. At no point did my eye stray and try to seek out attention from anybody associated with the channel. My modality of interaction with people is to be asexually professional. And I took exactly that modality with Becky from day one. I have not spent one shred, there's not one shred of experience by any human being that would suggest the validity of what you're saying. And yet you made it up to slander me with anyway. So if you want to persist in that, course, then you can go fuck yourself. I have nothing else to say about it. If you want to retract that shit, fine. But don't forget, you are slandering me. So, it's like people trying to put their fucking shit on me. That ain't my feelings. That's your feelings, Taylor, not mine. Don't try to fucking create my feelings for me. Not going to happen. Now, one thing you said in that video, apparently, that I don't have a problem with is, Kimberly, run. Eric's doing the same thing to Becky as doing to you. In that sense, you're right. I am doing the same thing to Becky that I'm doing to Kimberly and to everybody else, including you. I'm requiring people to be reasonable and fair and decent in their communications. I'm looking for dialectic, not rhetoric. I don't want your adversarial bullshit. If you actually have a problem, if I actually did something wrong, talk to me like a human being. Don't make up fucking stories about me. Sorry, that's how it goes. Now, I came on this live stream, ideally, to have some emotional talk about my ending relationship, which is almost certainly ending today, because I see there being a very, very low % chance that Kimberly is going to get up and have suddenly opened her eyes, turned the page, turned over a new leaf or whatever. And, I started live streaming because I was getting this panic attack of desperation thinking about the fact that my relationship was ending. It's going to be a huge fucking revision in my life again. And it's like, I feel like, why did you waste those years? Like, we had an agreement when we started this fucking thing. Like, we're all in, but she never did get all in. And I see it. I think it's unlikely she's going to be all in today. It's like, but the slabs are saying what the slabs are saying. The slabs are telling me that, like, Delilah moved out. I guess I'm meant to move back into my parents' house, help my dad take care of my mom. I don't know. I'm trying to deal with serious shit, and everybody's fucking misreading the Becky situation and focusing on blaming me on that shit. And it's like, yo, for fuck's sake, why don't you go talk to Becky about being a scumbag instead of trying to critique me about being somehow imperfect about privacy protection? Why don't you go shit on her for being a scumbag? That'd be probably a better thing to do. Or why don't you go shit on Taylor for making up bullshit stories on me? That would probably be a better thing to do. Those are legitimate critiques. You're going to win those critiques, no problem. If you go shit on Taylor for making up slanderous stories about me, you'll win that critique because he actually did wrong there. If you go shit on Becky for cheating on her boyfriend, you'll win that critique because she actually did wrong there. You go shit on me without understanding what the fucking details are, even though I tried to explain them all, and how it is not the case that I did not afford her plenty of opportunity to communicate with me, well, then you're going to lose that argument, as you're losing it now. And I am not going to engage. I feel no need to engage any further about it because I have talked it to fucking death in this live stream. I've heard everybody's concerns, everybody's complaints. I haven't heard a single goddamn good one yet. I've heard a bunch of bullshit, a bunch of personal attacks, and a bunch of failure to warrant any kind of justification that I've done something wrong, or even that there's a clear moral positive indication I should have upheld that I didn't. Nobody's provided any phrasing that I could affirm. Nobody's given me any concrete reasons to believe I've done anything wrong. It's all been a bunch of fucking personal attacks. So for those of you who still want to personally attack me about that, go ahead, but do it amongst yourselves, please. I don't want to hear it. Now, regarding my relationship with Kimberly, I mean, I'm so flustered right now from this fucking clusterfuck of combativeness. It's like people always think they're going to do a better job of combating against me than talking to me, than working with me. And that's why people get themselves in a big fucking problem. Because they think they're going to be adversarial with me and win rather than be cooperative with me and us both win. And then they fucking lose. They lose every time. Because the reason they always lose is if they had something legitimate to say, I'd have already conceded it and made amends. But they don't. So they start making more personal attacks and bullshit like that. And at that point, they just dig themselves deeper. Stop digging. I mean, the point is, everyone wants to critique me, but I didn't do anything wrong. Becky never voiced to me that she didn't want me talking about it stuff. I gave her plenty of opportunity to. She never gave me any indication of how she wanted the story spun or included me in how she was thinking about keeping her lie. So she's saying, hey, you didn't keep my lie. You didn't ask me to. You didn't include me in this process at all. You didn't say, hey, this is how hey, Eric, hey, listen, I'm lying, so we need to keep this on DL until Tuesday or whatever. Not one shred of that occurred at any fucking point. So, I mean, what the fuck? She behaved as though she were girlfriend and boyfriend with Shane in front of the camera every fucking time. So, why should I conclude, given that she spoke no words to me about how she expected me to help her maintain her lie, how can I be accountable for not having done so? How can I possibly be accountable for that? My definition of cooperative means that there is a mutual effort to make concessions for the other person, knowing that that exchange of power in itself creates a new, greater synergistic good. That it's more important that the parties show a willingness to exchange power than it is for either party to win any specific point. Because a willingness to share power is a willingness to be dialectical in disputes. And that's what Kimberly's not willing to do, is be dialectical. She insists on being adversarial. And I've been pleading and begging and trying everything impossible to make her non-adversarial in her conversations with me. But she will not do it. She will not make that. She will not engage in that power exchange that's necessary for a healthy relationship, where two people take turns exchanging power as a way of showing each other that they prioritize the team above their own interests. No, I can't do that stuff, Bad Biscuit. It's good advice in a lot of ways. Bad Biscuit here says, Eric, I don't know if you read this, if you read this, but I suggest to pause the relationship for 3 months, then come back and make a decision after like 6-7 months. No. I can't operate in time frames like that at all. I can't be in my FI that long. That's asking me to sit in my FI and make FI-based decisions. I can't do it. It's torture. This is what I keep explaining to her. I need things resolved as soon as the problem arises. So if she and I have a problem, I need to resolve instantly. She doesn't want it to resolve at all. She wants it to go away on its own by being ignored. And I just can't tolerate that, because anytime there's an unresolved issue between her and me, my FI is activated. I have to live in my FI. So I need it to be resolved clearly. I need reaffirmation that we're a team. And every time I go to get that, she gives me the opposite. And it's just, I can't take it anymore. It's like I need some of my needs met. She can't just not care about my needs. I keep telling her, all I need from you is this. You need shit from me all day long. Kimberly, you come to me. You ask me, can you take the trash out? Can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do this? Can you do that? Those are your needs. And imagine a world where I said to you every single time you came to me with a need, no, immediately, before I even heard what it was. Well, my need is for you to hear me and take me seriously. And anytime I have a concern that I want to talk about, a serious thing where you feel like you might be subject to any critique at all, I need you then to hear me and prove you're a teammate by being dialectical. And instead, you say no every single time. You negate everything I say. You fight me every fucking inch of the way. And that is my need. And so basically, you are doing to me is as though it were the case that every time you ask me for anything during the day, help for anything or problem solving or whatever, that I just went to you and said no before I even heard what it was you were asking. So you had to determine you were asking something. I said no. That's what you're doing to me. I can't take it anymore. And, you know, I've done everything in my possible to prove to her that I am committed forever and I am never going to leave her, abandon her, and stuff like that. And she's done nothing of the sort in return from me. She's threatened to leave me. She told me I should just leave her then rather than agreeing with anything, rather than working with me. And I'm sure using FI to deal with an issue isn't ignoring it until it goes away, but it doesn't have to be an issue. We can resolve it right now through this power exchange I'm talking about. We show, if I have a problem, it doesn't matter whether it's legit or illegit or whatever. We show that we prioritize each other and the team by making sure the person who has the problem is being heard and feels as though they're being accommodated in some regard. So it's just a matter of showing you want the other person to be happy. If I talk to Kimberly and she doesn't, he's not manipulative, flow state. For fuck you again with your fucking intentionality critiques. I am doing the only thing I can, which is talking. I try to talk to her. I want to solve problems with her immediately. I want to talk to her. And a lot of times she won't talk to me. And I've been told many times I need to give her the time she needs to reflect on shit before coming back to her and talking to her. So I do. And I suffer and I carry the burden of these unresolved things that to me can resolve instantly and very easily just by showing me she's on my team. And so then I come and vent about it on the internet. I'm not being dishonest. I'm not trying to manipulate her. I'm not trying to leverage her. I'm trying to be heard. And she's not hearing me. So I'm hopeful the internet will hear me. I'm not trying to paint a bad picture of her even. I'm frustrated. And I'm telling my story. And it's legitimate. I'm not trying to manipulate people. I'm not planning this shit. The fact that you make these kind of intentionality critiques of me is fucking disgusting. And we still need to have that meeting, you and me and Susie, which I talked to Susie about days ago, and well preceding any of this fucking shit. I talked to Susie about how we need to have this meeting, and this was going to be about blah, 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 blah. If you want more specific, talk to her, and she'll figure out the specifics. We need to have the meeting. Sometime today, it'll be quick, like 15 or 20 minutes. Anyway, and in the meantime, try not to make up any fucking more slanderous stories about me, please. It's punishment. You are not the victim. I'm not the victim. I'm not saying I'm the victim. I'm saying I'm a human being who's telling his fucking story and experiencing genuine frustration. I'm not saying I'm the victim. I'm saying I'm looking for her to work with me. I'm not sure she's capable of doing it or wants to do it. Maybe it's as simple as she doesn't like me and doesn't want to be with me, doesn't want to work with me. That's very possible. That doesn't make me the victim, right? So again, don't be reductive. Don't just pointlessly shit on me in weak ass fucking ways. Accept that I'm a real human being and I'm fallible and whatever else. But unlike just about everybody else, I'm actually subject to critique. I will hear you if you approach me like a human being. I will hear anybody who approaches me like a human being. The problem is when people expect to be heard, but will not hear me in return. When that occurs, it simply exemplifies cowardice, in my opinion. Rank, unacceptable cowardice. Now, in Kimberly, I'll classify it as something a lot more generous because I know she's got whatever going on. I don't know. I'm not trying to dismiss her or belittle her or anything. She's my woman. I want her to remain my woman. I've said to her from the beginning, I want to be all in with her. I perceive all in as being X. If she perceives all in as being something else and our perceptions are equally valid, fine. I'm not trying, though, to find ways to interpret this in which there's no way we can work out. I'm trying to save this relationship. So I'm trying to find ways to interpret it in which we can work out. I'm not claiming to be a victim. I want it to be a team. I am claiming to be not heard by her a lot of time, that she intentionally makes it every effort to not convey to me that I've been heard, to not convey to me that she wants me to be happy in this conversation. Yeah, that happens all the time. This YouTube channel is not a means of manipulating people in my life. It is my life. I've got, it's like, here's the other complication, of course. Kimberly and I both independently concluded that the right thing to do, for whatever reason you want to say, was to invite Spacey to stay here with us instead of taking his flight home. And it seemed important. So he's here with us because we actually care about people. Kimberly does, and I do too. And I'm saying she needs to care about me as well. And she needs to care what is important to me. Not show, here's how I show I care about you, Eric. Well, she needs to care what I need. Like, I don't just tell Kimberly I love her and nice things. That's affirming words. That would work well with me. But I get that's not her love language, right? She needs me to do a lot of little chores and tasks and shit like that. So I do. I'm asking her to do for me what I need. And when I struggle, I turn to words to provide me the solution. I look for the words that will explain the situation. If somebody genuinely has been behaving badly, and Kimberly doesn't come across good in a story, not because I'm trying to paint her bad. If anything, I'm trying to paint her as positively as I can. I'm withholding a lot of shit that maybe wouldn't make her look good. But I don't have to suffer with no means of being heard, with no legal means of getting a remedy to my concerns. And that's what it boils down to. In every relationship, both parties need a legal remedy that is acceptable to have their concerns and complaints heard. Kimberly has afforded me no such legal means, no such legal channel. There's no way I can talk to her in which if it's a concern or complaint, in which that concern or complaint gets heard and responded to appropriately. There's no medium, no way, no approach I can take. She won't even talk to me about what approach might work. It's just manipulative. Jesus fucking Christ. The projection. Or just the distance from truth, I guess. Anyway, Kimberly's still not awake. I'm not crying. I didn't cry, fucking Taylor. I got choked up. This is the same fucking shit that Kimberly does. I mean, it's unfucking believable. Taylor, I'm not faking my emotions. You're such a fucking scumbag. Why would you accuse me of that? There's more fucking made up stories from you. You need to look in the mirror, dude. You're not being cool at all. You're being a douche. I'm not faking my emotions. Just because they don't stick to me for long stretches of time, you know well that when I get upset, I get emotional. In fact, one time we were arguing and you taunted me because it sounded like I was about to cry. The same thing just happened right there. It seemed to be real when you get to use it to taunt me with it, but fake when it doesn't serve your purposes. I mean, it just sounds to me right now like you want to be my enemy, that you wanted to tell me that you don't like me and fuck off, Eric. Well, then just say that. Don't make up a bunch of stories. Don't be a Nick, okay? Whatever you do, don't be a Nick. Don't make up a bunch of made up stories about me and try to slander me with them and think that's going to fly. Okay? You're better than that. And try to lose my respect a little less quickly, please, because I still have a meeting to do and I still don't want to be your enemy. So, I would like to retain respect for you, please. It's my name backwards at Gmail. SSUART. I'll type it in this thing. It shouldn't be a war. But of course, Taylor doesn't want to talk to me directly about this and learn anything. He probably talked to Becky first. Got her fucking bullshit spin. He's got 4 slot in eyes. He doesn't know any better. He bought that shit. Hook, line, and sinker. The only thing I can understand. With no fucking concept of what actually went down. You just, she's a smooth talker, but ain't no way it's gonna fly when the truth pokes her right in the eye. So that's how it goes. I do get emotional and I get over it really quick. Does that mean it was fake? No. I am in turmoil right now over a lot of things. Right now I'm annoyed. I'm irritated. I don't want to fight things on so many different freaking fronts. And I genuinely believe unless Kimberly wakes up with some sort of fucking epiphany that I think this relationship is going to end. It seems like the slabs are dictating that it should. It's like, my dad kind of needs my help with my mom and stuff and blah, 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 blah. It's like, secretary. I don't have any victim mentality. I don't claim to be the victim. Just because I'm sad and emotional doesn't mean I've been victimized. I'm not claiming to be a victim. I don't want to position her as a victimizer. I'm saying, here's what I need. I need her to give it to me. And thus far, she's not giving it to me. That doesn't make me a victim. It makes me a person in a tough situation in a relationship. Now, you guys are certainly not helping who are saying things like, there's just Eric blowing smoke up his our asses again or something like that. And just dismissing me, not taking me seriously and thinking I can just be treated like a joke or something. Well, fine, you do that. But, surely you've got something better to do than to spend your time than listening to this joke, just whine about his victimhood and stuff. Why don't you run along and go do something more productive? Because I'm obviously not worth your time. What are the slabs? Oh, yeah, Taylor is a sucker for Becky's BS. I don't doubt that. See, Taylor does like Becky. Taylor would love to get in Becky's pants. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying he shouldn't want that. If that's the way his relationship is set up, fine. Let him do that shit. I'm not saying it's inherently bad for people that open relationships or something like that. It's a matter of honesty with each other, right? If you're telling your partner, look, this is our arrangement and stuff, and both parties are aware of shit, then that's one thing. It's the fact that this whole scheme of hers is predicated on the notion that everyone's just going to play along with her lie, even though she won't talk to anybody directly about it. That's the problem. It's like it would be hubris. And then the notion that it doesn't matter even if she won't talk to us about anything at all, legitimate, not even touching on that area, and then runs off both middle fingers in the air. Well, I mean, come on. Somebody's got to allow for her to have some fucking actual agency where she gets to make decisions and incur some consequences from them, right? I have a secure attachment style. You say, McDrama Bear, one person in the relationship must have a secure attachment style. I want that to be true. And I want you to explain to me how it is that one person makes the other one healthy and makes the relationship good. I want to know that. I want the solution. Tell it to me, please. I should swallow sperm? I don't think Becky's a master manipulator because she failed utterly to have this thing go like she wanted it to. So she obviously didn't manipulate very successfully. I think she's probably like me without principles, which is to say she kind of just runs on impulse and just kind of does what she does. But without principles, you make big mistakes. You got to be strict with yourself and adhering to certain kind of principles, or else you're going to get caught up in something you don't want to get caught up in. I don't lie. I mean, I do lie sometimes. I'm not saying I never lie. When I do, I'm either... I can't remember the last time I sort of willfully, consciously lied, but it probably wasn't super long time ago. I do lie. You're right, Flow State. But I'm saying I do my very best not to lie. And when I do lie, it usually bites me in the ass. For example, when I lied to the cop in Oklahoma and told him I didn't have any weed, that just made them open up my shit and whatever. And they probably would have anyway, but they might have let me go and thrown it away. Who knows? Why are you spamming Jeronian Van der Sanden? You are a not interesting person. Your lack of interestingness is your problem. Okay, so I mean, the thing is this, and this is a key distinction. It's like the example I gave the other day at the fishing place. What I said was, I might do that, MJ. I might do that. I'll give you this clear thing. Like Taylor says, "Lol, oh my God, you're lying this instant." So he's probably not lying himself. I guess he's just choosing the truth he wants. I don't know. Do I mislead? Sure, but I have principles about it. Just as I gave an example of the fishing thing, the guy came around and said he's checking fishing licenses. None of us have any fishing licenses. I said, I heard that the law had changed, that fishing licenses no longer were required to be displayed, which is true. I had heard that. Note, I also knew that you still had to have them with you. I didn't say that, though. I also didn't say I didn't know that. I just left it up to him to infer. So I didn't lie to him, and I misled him. And it wouldn't have made any difference probably anyway. But the point is, had he actually asked me, well, do you actually have them, though? I would not have lied. I would have said, no, we don't actually. Because I have rules. I have principles. Taylor knows this. Taylor, that's not laughable. The point is, that's the difference between me and Becky. When Becky is asked about those things, she lies. That's the difference. I saw it. I heard it. I watched it happen. You might say I'm not honest because I'm willing to mislead people like that. That would be stretching the definition of honest substantially. But you could not say I'm not principled. And for an ENTP, the difference between evil and good is principle. I mean, that's just how it is. So, okay, I'm going to end this. I'm going to end this live stream, and I'm going to try MJ's suggestion. Okay, well, flow state. Like I said, we still have to have that meeting later today. I guess you'll see how principled I am. I mean, my principles don't restore my respect for you, but they nevertheless are there. Have a nice day. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.